I remember one time I had a paintball gun. And if you don't know guns, like I think like real men that listen to this show, we talk about guns sometimes, and they're like, "Dude, these guys sound like fucking morons."
Yeah.
But you got to understand, New York City is a place where, unless you were like absolute like fucking hood rat,
Didn't give a fuck.
like really hood rat. You got to be. It's not even like being ghetto, dude. Like I knew fucking hood people in New York when I first moved here. Especially, we smoked blunts on soups. We lived in Brooklyn. We made friends with all the people in the neighborhood. Nobody really had guns. You know what I'm saying? And if they did, it wasn't like fucking known. It's another step below like hood rat. We're talking about New York. It's so hard, and the penalties for having guns in New York are so high.
Yeah, it's a minimum of 5 years to get caught.
Yeah, it's
10.
Yeah, it's 10. I think. Yeah, it's more.
Thank you.
So
Yeah, because I was carrying a gun when I first came to New York, like 2007, 2008, and I remember they're like, "Yo, you can't just walk
you can't
around
do
with
that.
And I'm
You
like, "Really?"
can't.
Like I came up from Philly just on my regular, what? You know what I mean? And they were like, "No."
So I never really experienced guns like before I had held it. But even right now, if somebody were to pull out a toy gun that's painted black, I can't just eyeball it and go, "That's not a real gun." But somebody from fucking Florida or Texas can just go, "It's a fucking toy." Like they would just know it. Like immediately, I would see something black and I'd go, "Oh my god!" But
That's just the kid's hand.
I remember I had a paintball gun in my car. I was maybe 18 years old. It was snowing one day, and all these like black and Hispanic kids in my neighborhood, they decided that they were gonna. It was like they were having like a snowball fight. They were a lot. I was maybe 18 or 19. They were like 15 years old, 14 years old, and like they were just sort of like hood. I didn't really hang out with them, but they were like these hood kids in my neighborhood, and we were kind of cool. We weren't like, it wasn't a bad thing, but they were like. Having like a snowball fight, and I got caught in the middle of it, and I had a big shitty car, right? So I'm fucking like kind of driving in between them, right? And it's kind of, we're having fun, right? Yeah. So they start throwing snowballs at my car. I have a Chevy Caprice, like 89 Chevy Caprice, the shittiest car you could possibly have, right? Mm-hmm. So we're just having a fun time. So at one point I'm parked, and they're just pelting my car with snowballs, right? And then they start coming on the sides of me.
Oh no!
And they start packing my my tires in snow, and start like almost trying to like build like an igloo around my car. Mm-hmm. And
it's like Fortnite.
Yeah, dude. So I'm starting to get stuck in the snow and I can't get out. I'm like, "Oh shit, dude! Like, you guys got to actually do this."
Oh god.
So I just take my paintball gun and I point it out the window at them, and they just start taking off. Like, "Oh shit, he's got a paintball gun!" And they start fucking running. So whatever. I drive away, right? And so somebody saw me point a fucking rifle out my gun
at children,
and they called the cops.
Yeah,
they were like, they just saw somebody was watching from the window, and they saw these kids like fucking around, and then they saw a guy with a rifle pointed out the window. Dude, I had like 8 cops cars surround me, dude. Like, "Where's the gun? Where's the gun?" I'm like, "There is no gun, I swear." It was fun, but
good God,
it could have easily gone. Like, all it would have taken was just some fucking nervous ass cop. Like I go like this with it, like, "Here's the gun," and then I'm fucking dead. Same thing happened once when I was in middle school. There was always so many, dude. One time in the 8th grade, I dressed up on Halloween. My costume
just
was.
Just out of curiosity, why was the paintball gun in the car with you though? Why
I play paintball. We have it in the trunk.
Okay.
Yeah. So for Halloween one year in the 8th grade, I just dressed up as a robber. Like I put a stocking on my head, and we're all black, and I had a silver real-looking gun, and I was just walking the streets like that. And fucking, and then my buddy, because kids from the hood didn't really wear costumes, my buddy just had like a fucking, like a clown mask behind his head, and we just looked like we were in for trouble. And cops showed up, and they're like, "What the fuck?" You know. But I remember in middle school, "Ian, what are you doing? You can't just spend an hour on the podcast. You got to text.
I can't.
You gotta, so it's distracting
Ian's
for
like
me.
a chick. If
I'm
it's
trying
not
to have
about him,
I'm trying to have a fucking conversation.
I'm
all
listening.
about him.
My cats tore up the apartment today. There's fucking garbage and food everywhere, and I'm going back and forth.
Making sure you're texting those cats. You cats better have this apartment clean when I get home.
I was supposed to clean it up, but I woke up late, and it's just a fucking mess.
All right, come on.
I know.
Just for the love of God.
I know.
But I was we went to ShopRite, the supermarket. We were having a paintball, or not a paintball war, a BB gun war behind ShopRite. Now, did you guys get like 10 pump BB guns when you were kids?
I did, yeah.
So a 10 pump BB gun, you pump it 10 times and it creates enough air pressure in the gun that it's pretty fucking powerful. It's just more powerful than the ones that were using CO2, right? So the BB guns were essentially a pump or CO2. That's the way BB guns were made, right? What is that face about?
No, I was just remembering
Your BB guns. Yeah, the BB guns
and
were awesome, dude.
The pellet guns I had.
Yeah, the one with the short pellets.
Yeah,
you know,
we would shoot at squirrels in my grandfather's yard.
Dude, I had one. It was a handgun. I thought this thing was so cool.
So much like 6 right now, like even with the air coming up.
It was a $30.
Oh,
it was a $30 handgun that was just a one pump that I had, and I thought it was so cool. I remember there was a pigeon sitting on an electrical line, and I went, and I shot it. It hit right in the chest. It bounced off it, and the pigeon went, cool.
Oh wow!
It didn't even fly away. Cool.
Dude, there was like a bird in the tree at my grandfather's house, and I was like, "Can I shoot it?" And he goes, "Yeah, go for it." He didn't think I'd hit it, and I fucking shot. The thing fell on the ground.
Oh no!
I just started sobbing, and then made my family have a funeral for the bird.
Oh no!
We put it in a box. I said like prayers from the Bible.
Can we bury it at the beach?
Can we go to Poodle Beach?
Bring him back to his home. Poodle Beach. Oh, that's great.
Shit. So we were behind ShopRite having a BB gun war with these 10
That
pumps.
hurts, dude.
We would only pump them twice.
Hurts.
So we had these rifles. 10 pumps, you would fucking put a hole in through somebody's heart. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Like they were dangerous. These were dangerous
bullet.
weapons, right?
But these are also kids, so you know 2 pumps turns into 3 real quick.
2 pumps turns into 3, 3 pumps turns into 5. We started pumping about 8 times. We were gonna do 10. That was crazy.
I'm just gonna shoot from far away.
Yeah. We were like, it was Gano and Miguel, who were my neighbors, right? They were brothers, Gano and Miguel, and me and James Saccone on one team, and Gano and Miguel on another team. And Gano had a BB gun. Miguel didn't even have a BB gun. He had rocks. So Miguel's just throwing rocks.
He was the Palestinian of the group.
We were friends. This wasn't a war of like, oh, we're trying to kill each other or hurt each other. We were simply saying, hey, we got BB guns. Let's shoot each other with them.
Yeah.
And we're behind ShopRite, like, maybe, I don't know how many yards, maybe 25, 30 yards, like pretty far. But I remember I shot Gano in his arm, and it fucking put a hole in his arm. It stuck in his arm. The hot BB was stuck in his arm. And he bled. And we were like, we got to stop because it's going to hit somebody in the fucking eye.
Yeah.
And I remember we were taking...
You drew first blood.
Now that you say that does remind me. There was a kid that I went to school with, Brendan. He shot one in his basement, and it like bounced off the wall and hit him back in the nose. We never got to see it, but he had a Band-Aid on, and you could see the blood-soaked hole through the Band-Aid.
Yeah, so we went into ShopRite because we were taking a break from this BB gun war. We're like, let's go steal some sodas, right? Like we're like fucking, we're hot. We're shooting each other with BB guns. So we take our
Context, let's go into ShopRite with our guns.
Let's go into ShopRite with our guns. So we take our guns and we just shove them down one leg.
Jesus.
So I'm walking with one straight leg like a pirate. All 3 of us, 3 Puerto Rican kids walking, stealing sodas.
Yeah.
Walking through the store like this, right? And security starts following us around, right? And at that point, we're like, fuck. So I think somebody saw us enter with the guns. That's what happened because the police were already there. You know what I'm saying? So we see security following us. So we start running out of the store. We're like, all right, get out of here. Let's run. The cops are there, right? And they're chasing us. Now I do this thing. Like I've always been a fat kid. Deep down inside, like instead of running, I'm fighting. I would much rather get my ass kicked than be out of breath from running, right? Same thing if the cops come. I'm not running. You got me. All right. That's just sort of my attitude. It's like, I'm not going to deal with this whole fucking running thing, okay? Unless it's absolutely necessary.
No retreat, no surrender.
Unless I'm going to Jamaica in a few weeks.
So my friends, they book, right? And they're skinny and athletic kids.
Oh, no.
And I'm just a fat kid, so I'm like, with one leg just fucking.
Eric Cartman.
So I was like, Eric Cartman. So I'm like, you got.
Here's it.
The cops are like, freeze. And I'm like, you got me. So I simply grab my gun out of my pants.
No.
Turn around. I literally turn around and I pull it out and I go, oh. I mean, the look on these faces, they were going to kill me.
Yeah.
Dude.
These cops were going to kill me. And just by chance, they said, that's a BB gun. That's a kid. He's not trying to hurt anybody. And I just happened to get the cops that weren't ready to murder somebody that day.
Yeah.
Because I think back, I was like, I stopped and I went, I mean,
Jesus.
it's crazy that they didn't kill me. They should have killed me. They should have. And if my mom would have complained, what would it have been their fault? I pulled out a rifle.
All right,
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I don't know if the cops should immediately just like
Yeah,
shoot to
'cause
kill.
They're already coming very like it's so much because whatever the call was probably hyped up. So they come extra hype. Like that's the part that makes it a recipe for disaster. You know, and even when we started this call.
We're also like we're like 12 or 13 years old, but I'm as big as I am now. You know what I'm saying? We were not small kids. Like these were also kind of like tough kids. Like these were kids who would get into fights. These are kids that would break into your house. It's not like we were a group of kids that we weren't good kids. We weren't like really out there like we weren't the worst
That's
of the worst.
That's the interesting thing though, yeah, because some of you accept it almost. Like I got into a mentality like that also of like, you know, if I got pulled over by the cops or, you know, rousted, even if I wasn't doing anything wrong, I kind of accepted it because I was more than likely doing something wrong earlier.
Yeah, they didn't catch me doing what I was doing.
Right,
You know,
right.
every time I've gotten arrested smoking weed and when I'm spending my day in central bookings, I think of that every time. I go, you know what? I've smoked weed 1,000 times and never been caught. If I were to just break down my time in this jail cell for every time I did, if you would have just said, hey, Lewis, you have to spend 18 seconds in a cell before you can light that blunt every time you would do it, I'd still do it.
Yeah.
It's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
I would always sort of
That's
get
almost
there.
like a
That's a good
freeing
mindset,
way
though,
of,
yeah,
and like a
to deal
form of
with.
acceptance
Yeah.
to deal with it instead of freaking out.
Positive and negative are going to happen, so your mind is willing to balance
I don't
it out.
think you should have gotten. I don't know if you
think- no, they
deserve to get
No, I
shot.
didn't deserve to get shot. I'm just saying if those cops would have shot me, they wouldn't have really done anything wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, you were pulling out a weapon, and they didn't know if it was a gun or not. But it's like you also shouldn't be just yanking a weapon out of your pants. It's like you get what you get. Like. You shouldn't die over that, but them shooting you, it's like who's gonna? You
Wasn't
can't
there one
blame
story-
them.
It's Darwinism.